As global warming advances, its changing landscapes are expected to drive hundreds of millions of climate refugees to move. The UN expects tens of millions of people to be displaced due to the climate crisis in the next decade alone.
Science given to people is not enough. We need to create modalities of interaction between individuals at the community level with each other, with external knowledge, and with those who want to help. If the sea level is rising, where do you go? Should I stay in a place that I know, that I care for, where I know people? Or should I go? Where? To do what? With what? What are we going to do to help people have conversations?
We will develop a participatory adaptation platform to enable the world's most climate vulnerable communities to discover, negotiate with, and migrate to receptive locations where they can thrive and be safe. This involves building long-term collaborations between aid organizations, local governments, and communities to access, communicate, and process scientific knowledge within social and cultural contexts that are relevant to the affected groups. At its core, the Participatory Adaptation Platform is a system and a collection of resources that organizations can plug into to facilitate collaborative planning and climate-induced migration prior to crisis.
There are three parts to the Participatory Adaptation Platform. Part 1 focuses on partnerships and value alignment.
Lack of trust between vulnerable residents, government, and aid organizations is a significant issue.
The platform provides a common space for collaboration where many voices can be heard and where expertise in one's lived experience is respected and lifted up and put in conversation with more traditional forms of governmental and scientific expertise. Part 2 focuses on participatory strategy and scenario development. It focuses on building the capacity of vulnerable communities to self-advocate.
Scenarios are powerful tools that allow us to explore possible climate futures and how they are shaped by our collective actions, but they typically exclude those people who are directly impacted.
Our platform provides tools for people to tell their own stories, stories that will shape actionable strategies and scenarios. This is essential for translating and interpreting global quantitative scientific models into localized regional qualitative scenarios. Part 3 is collaborative implementation and logistics planning. Scenarios and visions alone are not sufficient for catalyzing transformational change. The shared visions need to be incorporated into implementable programs and policies. This process will promote effective power sharing between vulnerable communities and governments in the climate adaptation process.
The Civic Design Initiative Group at MIT will consolidate the resources of the university into an accessible platform for community planners with tools, processes, and convening power to facilitate urgent processes of climate-driven adaptation and relocation. Starting with a partnership between civic designers at MIT, the Red Cross Red Crescent Climate Center, and the World Bank's West Africa Coastal Area Management Program, we will create a means for effective multi-sectoral design processes in the world's most climate vulnerable locations.